My dad was an Air Force pilot. His identity was in his eyes. He had 20/20, but when that gave out and the Air Force didn't let him fly anymore, he elected to retire immediately. So that meant that the family moved to West Virginia from Hampton, Virginia, where I was conducting a rather stellar high school career. I had 3 months until graduation, but they took off, and I was left. I stayed with a family friend and graduated, and then joined my family in Martinsburg, West Virginia. Now, this detour in my stellar and meteoric rise was a shock to me, and it was exacerbated by the fact that there were only 2 jobs left in Martinsburg for summer employment. The other one was a legacy, and that was all lined up, and I got working at Perfection Garment Company. It was a basement apartment, not an apartment, but a basement sweatshop. I descended the stairs my first day of work, and I saw immediately I was overdressed. There were 20 tables down there, and each table had 2 guys folding pleating patterns with cheap wool in between the pleating patterns. They were doing pleated dress material for the Christmas trade. But this was the dead of summer, and right in the middle of this sweatshop there was a steam room. It was like a giant steam iron for these rolled up pleated patterns to steep in there. Now Red Greenfield was in charge of the steam room. He was this wiry guy with an explosion of red hair. And when he opened the door, out came the steam, and it went through the room. It was like, well, it was Dickensian, because there was myrrh and cloth hanging in the air in this fuzzy medium. It would get tangled up in your own hair, and when you sweat, you would sweat colors. You had to write, or you had to wear shorts and a t-shirt. And each table had 2 guys folding patterns. And I was opposite Enid. And Enid was 6'2", 280 pounds, and he had a scar that went across his forehead like this. It seemed to be a kind of a soup bowl scar. I said, "Where'd you pick that up?" And he said, "Bar fighting." He says, "I fuck, I fight, I run foot races." I said, "I can run foot races. I was the cross-country co-captain." But none of my resume was working out in this place. I was an Eagle Scout, an honor student, and that didn't have any trade in this place. It was a rough and tumble employment haven. There we were, pleating dress material, and I was stuck on this detour from life. I was going to have a summer at the beach with my buddies, but no, I'm in Oliver. I'm there in this sweatshop. Well, there were 4 women there. They were packers, Loretta and Florence. And Loretta was marked by age and the hardness of life. Now down at the end table, Paul Willis said, "Well, if you leave, I'll go wag my willy." And he walked down the aisle, came up to the Packers table, grabbed Loretta by her left breast, and went like a speed bag at the boxing arena. And he says, "Get you tonight, baby." And she says, "Fuck that," and followed him into the men's room. I said, "Are they allowed to do that?" The cheap cardboard walls of this men's room were palpitating and pushing out, and we heard all manner of grunts, and and elbows crashing into things. And then Loretta came out, adjusting her bra and pulling up her skirt, and Paul came out and handed her a 20, and then went back to the table. Oh, I thought, I am not prepared for this at all. That job was so tough. Finally, the detour was over in late August, and I got $262 for my summer's employment. And that year at college, anything I purchased, I matched against an hour in that place per dollar, because it was $1.10 an hour. And I returned home in the summer with $213.